world seawater is steadily climbing in temperature due to the extra heat produced from the burning of fossil fuels, while oxygen levels in the ocean are plunging and the water is acidifying from the soaking up of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And now further information from a new study titled Continent-Wide Declines in Shallow Reef Life Over a Decade of Ocean Warming, published in Nature, shows a declining number of over 500 common fish species, seaweed, coral and invertebrates living on reefs around Australia in the past decade. Endemic invertebrates and seaweeds that prefer cold waters showed the steepest declines, and are prevented by deep ocean barriers from moving south as temperatures rise. More than 30% of shallow invertebrate species in cool latitudes exhibited high extinction risk, with rapidly declining populations trapped by deep ocean barriers, preventing poleward retreat as temperatures rise. Study lead, marine ecologist, Professor Graham Edgar of the University of Tasmania.
The declines were most marked in the rocky kelp-dominated reefs in Australia's cooler southern waters, known collectively as the Great Southern Reef. These declines are happening out of sight and with very little public attention. There were many more species in the waters that were not being monitored and were also very likely to be declining. We're really only looking at the tip of the iceberg here. Species could be going extinct now. This is very concerning to me. I've been swimming up and down counting fish and seaweed for more than 30 years and I've seen firsthand the effect of warming on the system. With the direction this is going, it's a huge worry.
Climate change already produces extensive damage. Menacing heat waves, landslides and floods will become the norm unless we take immediate action. Switzerland, along with most other countries, is not doing as much as is necessary to avert such disasters. Because governments, through their inaction, violate basic rights, more and more people around the globe are taking them to court. What's at stake is a livable future without climate collapse. So starts the preamble to
Es geht los, Klimagerechtigkeit jetzt.
It starts, Climate Justice Now. On Wednesday, a panel of judges at the European Court of Human Rights heard petitions from a group of my fellow Swiss sister boomers, seeking to bolster climate action in their country. Although climate litigation has spread quickly around the world, these are the first such cases to be heard by the ECHR. The lawsuit demands that the federal authorities correct the course of Swiss climate policy, because the current climate targets and measures are not sufficient to limit global warming to a safe level. Moreover, that if every country's response was the same as Switzerland's, global warming of up to 3 degrees Celsius would hit by 2100. Scientific evidence collected by Klimasenioren supports their case regarding impacts of climate change on people's health, highlighting how older people, particularly women, are vulnerable. They argue that Switzerland has breached Articles 2 and 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. These two articles protect the right to life and the right to respect for private and family life. The 17-judge panel is considering its decisions. If it rules in favor of the Swiss women, it could order their governments to do more to cut emissions, and its judgments are legally binding. Stay tuned. Over to you, Nola.
Working assessment information in detail. This arid-adapted tree aloe is one of the rarest aloe species in southern Africa. Occurs as solitarily individuals or in small locally abundant groups, with clusters varying from 1 to 345 individuals. It has a limited distribution in the northern Richtersveld and southern Namibia. There are 3 subpopulations that have been monitored over the past 10 years. Declines to the population as a result of drought and illegal collection for the succulent horticultural trade have been observed. One of the 3 subpopulations has also experienced excessive predation by wild fauna and livestock, as a consequence of extreme habitat degradation within the southern part of its range, leaving animals little choice but to predate this species. This long-lived species has a generation length of at least 150 years. From available data, the population is inferred to have declined by 61% in the past 2 generations and is predicted, based on climate change models, to decline by a further 92% by the year 2080. Threats. Both the northern and central subpopulations are experiencing ongoing habitat loss and degradation as a result of mining activities. The footprint of mines, as well as secondary impacts from mining activities such as wind-blown sand dumps and sandblasting, is expected to increase over the next 50 years. An influx of people may also lead to future poaching taking place. The extreme droughts of the 21st century has caused decline to the population. The influence of anthropogenic climate change on rainfall regimes and extreme temperatures are considered a threat, both now and in the future. Scientific name: Allodendron palansii. Common names: giant quiver tree, bastard quiver tree. Native to Namibia, South Africa, Northern Cape Province. IUCN Red List category and criteria. Critically endangered. This has been Ole and Ollie K. Boomer with NOLA Comms for your climate change report coming from downtown Alberta.